Hey guys, we are back for another video, and y'all know what we must talk about. We must talk about Dr. Jackie Walters. Now, we have let this woman slide. In fact, she gave a statement about Black women that she really never truly apologized for. They allowed her to slide at the reunion. Now, back again, she is sliding yet again, and we are going to get into it.
Please, I don't have any time for any gossip now. Eh? Yes.
So listen, I always had this saying that, was like, why is Dr. Jackie there? And people said, oh, she solidifies the show. She does not solidify the show. In fact, people think that she is mean and very nasty. I mean, that is just what the streets are saying. And not only the streets, the internet is saying the same thing. Now, Jackie, we've only saw the two-part reunion. Obviously, the third will be next week. But she provided this much, zero. She provided absolutely nothing. And even when asked, she basically says she's going to remain silent. So my thing is, why is Dr. Jackie and her sometime husband, I'm going to say sometime because he does come around sometimes. So I'm just not understanding why she is here. If you guys know why, put it in the chat. So what I want to jump into is some quick snippets of how she responded to the reunion, which led me to this decision.
What had me very sad and has me sad. Don't cry, Jackie. They were good friends. They were good friends. Yeah. And to think that you two can't come back.
That's all we needed to that's it. So first of all, the fake crying, the fake tears. This woman is not nice. Like, girl, come on, stop it. And they were letting her have it in the chat. Like in the chat, they was like, girl, stop it, girl, stop it. So Dr. Jackie, stop. We need you to stop, and we need you to actually stop right now, because these fake tears, Jackie, it's just not working. Dr. Heavenly is your friend. So I believe when you are friends with someone, you have a little authority with them and, some of the things they do, because in fact, you are their friend. So you can actually be a good influence. So the fact that you use your influence the way that you use it is really a little bit suspect to me. Now, I don't know what you guys think with regards to, the show and what you think, but people have said for some time that Dr. Jackie is just not what she says she is. Now, if you guys even forgot, even in this very, reunion, she was asked about some of the things that she does, or should I say, some of the things she does not do when it pertains to her friend, Dr. Heavenly, making a joke of another woman who may be having fertility issues. And this is what I said: a doctor or doctors sitting up here and nobody is checking this woman. But guess what? Somebody asked Jackie the same question, because the people are wondering, like, what damn kind of show is this that y'all sit up here and talk about somebody who, appear to be having some issues, with conception or conceiving, or however, whatever the word I'm supposed to be using. But Dr. Jackie, why you not saying nothing? And I believe it was posed to her because Dr. Heavenly is her friend.
Respected in the medical community.
Oh, Lord.
I mean, you're a doctor.
Right.
That's pretty messy.
I think it is. I think what you're missing is you didn't preface that she said I was not respected.
So let me kind of bring y'all up to speed. So what she's being asked, this is Dr. /Hell. What she's being asked is the tweet that she sent out about Dr. G. Like, wow, why did you do that? Like, that was a lot because, I mean, you said he wasn't respected in the medical community. Okay. But then you followed it up with saying the man was a pedo. But it is what is asked to her elder friend, the one who I shouldn't say everybody, the one who people seem to think solidifies the show, but allows her friend to drag somebody for having fertility issues.
So I was actually retaliated, but I do feel bad. It was wrong, and I own every part of it. I have no beef with Sweet Tea, and I apologize again and again.
Well, Nana from Las Vegas, Nevada said, how does Dr. Jackie stand by and watch her friend Heavenly attack another woman for her fertility issues?
Right.
She should know how deep a cut that is.
I never attacked the fertility issue.
Okay, now do you guys see, or maybe I just see things, how Dr. Jackie is just sitting there, and everybody else is speaking but her. Well, it gets even more weirder because she still never speaks.
You said her dead mother had a better chance of getting pregnant.
She said my mother was in hell.
Okay, guys, please follow along because you still will never see Dr. Jackie answering this question. And then Andy finally says the question was to Dr. Jackie.
It was a clapback. I said my mother in hell has a better chance in hell of having a baby. Yes, I did say that.
The question was for Jackie.
I didn't want to get any on me.
Okay.
You didn't want to get involved. No.
Okay, can somebody help me out, please? Somebody help me out. I didn't want to get any on me. Girl, what? Because I am sick of you. Like, I am sick of you. What you mean you don't want to get any on you? Why are you on this show, ma'am? I'm just so confused because help me put something in the chat. Y'all let me know, what am I missing? This is crazy. This is absolutely crazy. But here's the deal, y'all. Why is Dr. Jackie not being held accountable? Why is Andy even conducting the reunions? Because it is clear that he is very, very biased and he does not need to be on the reunion. Because what we did find out, Dr. Jackie never took accountability for this.
That you go to the doctor and you complain and you complain and you complain and you're not taken serious because you cried wolf the entire pregnancy.
That ain't me, boo. I don't know what you're talking about, but go ahead.
I didn't say you. I just said as African American women, we want to also make sure you're being serious with your doctor and not playing the game so I can take you off work. Because then we see you 25 times in the pregnancy. It's hard to believe that there's a true problem when there's a true problem.
So we have never really received anything with regards to that. And yet again, we are at another reunion and she's deflecting again. Y'all help me understand, why is this woman on this show? Why is Dr. Jackie on this show when we have had countless women? If y'all don't remember, let me refresh your memory.
Okay. So for those who have no idea who I am, I'm saying it for the purpose of this video. My name is Lakeysha. Those who know me know me. When it comes to what we're about to talk about, a lot of people don't know me. I wasn't going to do this video mostly for the same reason partially for the same reason why I deleted my first video. In 2019, I gave birth to my daughter in August. And prior to going on my IVF journey with my husband and I was at Dr. Jackie's practice. At that time, it was 3. Can't remember the third person or the third OB's name, but Dr. Passiani, Dr. Jackie. I had been going to Dr. Passiani for like 2 years prior to even meeting my husband and going through our IVF journey. And, you know, when you become a mother, and especially since, I mean, we did a lot to get through our IVF journey. I had made a lot of sacrifices on my body. Dr. Passiani was right there through it all with me, right? Not really sure of her nationality, but I know she wasn't a woman of color. And I remember doing research in my 3rd trimester, trying to figure out, or getting close to my 3rd trimester, trying to figure out what I wanted my options to be, or what I wanted to look at what the options were for me giving birth. And in that research, I found out that women of color are more impacted when it comes to having having childbirth and in the medical system, you know, and how we are acknowledged, how our pain is handled. And I knew none of that, right? Because I'm not a person that goes to the hospital. I've never been treated that way, but I've always went to like specialty doctors or, you know, like little specialists or whatever. So, and this was the first time me giving birth. I was in my mid to late 30s. So this was a whole new experience for me, right? So I was already freaking out enough. And then we went through IVF and we went through this whole process. And so anyway, I remember my aunt, my mother, and my husband, we were all talking about what I had found in my research about when women of color, I think it was like a 3%. It was an additional like 3% increase of women of color who suffer mortality in childbirth, right? Than any other race, nationality. And I remember saying I didn't want to leave the practice that I was at, but I knew Dr. Jackie was there and she had a seat at the table. That was my exact words. So I hadn't talked to Dr. Passiani. I had the conversation with my family first. And then I don't know who I contacted at her practice, but I asked to speak to Dr. Jackie and if we could, you know, meet with her. We met with her. We were all in one room. And I told her that based on like the research, you have a seat at the table. I don't want to go through what a lot of women of color are going through. I don't want to be a statistic. I'm already freaking out. I'm scared. And I would like to switch to you because I feel like you as a woman of color would have my best interest in mind in going through, you know, something that was foreign to me, which is childbirth, right? She was very much like, okay, we'll talk to Dr. Passiani. We agreed. It was me, her, and my family. And I came to her with all of these things that were on my heart of I couldn't believe that women of color were really being treated like this at a time where childbirth is damn near as close to death as you could possibly get while living. Like, I don't understand how someone's pain level could be in question. I don't understand the statistics and why, basically why I was reading what I was reading, right? I'm not oblivious to the things that are happening in the current environment that we're in, but childbirth, that's insane, right? Like childbirth. So anyway, moving on. I finished all of my follow-up visits with Dr. Jackie. We had a plan to induce me, and the date, my daughter's arrival date was supposed to be August 21st. And we were kind of fighting back and forth with Northside, which is supposed to be a hospital that's great for women for their child and delivery department. And yeah, I mean, it was nice. Don't get me wrong. The accommodations were nice, but I remember going in the day that they were inducing us. It was me and my husband, Dr. Jackie, and another lady of color walked in with her. And she had been trying to get me in for like a day and a half. And I remember seeing her saying that, okay, she did some paperwork. She said she would be back. My impression, not even my impression, but the game plan was supposed to be to give me Cervidil. So I think when I came in, I was like 3 centimeters to get me to dilate more, right? Okay, I'm with the game plan. I wanted a natural birth. I didn't want to.
Now, just so you guys are following along, what she's going to tell you is that Dr. Jackie leaves and never even tells her. But let's let her story continue.
5-10 minutes to discuss what we were going to do, and I didn't see her again. And a few hours later, this Caucasian lady walked in and she introduced herself, and I said, okay, where is my doctor? Where's Dr. Jackie at? Oh, well, we're her rotating practice. I absolutely knew nothing. I was so green because I didn't even know that that was a question to ask, right? I don't know. In my head, I just felt like, you're going to be here regardless, right? It doesn't matter if I give birth, whenever I give birth, you're going to be here. And I was oblivious to, like, I know that their lives cannot, roll around patients because they would never get a break and be with their families. I understand that, but I was never told that there was a rotating practice, because then I would have wanted the opportunity to meet them, get to know them, maybe select someone of color in their rotating practice or whatever. I was just given somebody from the practice, right? So then she comes in and she's like, well, we're going to break your water. And I'm like, well, that's not what we discussed. I thought we were going to allow me to dilate more. And I feel like if you break my water, then it's not really giving my baby a fighting chance. And she gave me this whole hoopla, whatever. And I said, well, I think you should contact Dr. Jackie. Oh, she's not available. So here I'm in a situation where I don't know this lady. She's the only lifeline I have to Dr. Jackie. And I now do not even have that lifeline anymore because she's unavailable. So, and this lady is completely changing everything that Dr. Jackie and I, what my family had talked about, right? So then I was like, okay, well, if that's what we have to do. She then broke my water. They gave me the epidural, which they didn't really have to fight me on it. My contractions weren't bad. So they gave me the epidural. Then I started feeling a lot more pain. I couldn't even tell the difference between my contractions or the epidural. So then they tried to give me a second epidural. That gave me more pain. So then my husband noticed that my heart rate was going up and my temperature was going up. And they were like, we have to make a decision. I was only at 4 centimeters by that time. We have to make a decision. I can't even remember how long I labored. It wasn't even a full day. And they were like, we have to make a decision. Your body's in stress. So now I felt like a lot of the stress was coming from what they did to me. Mm-hmm. I couldn't even tell you. I may have felt maybe 2 contractions, and everything else was just a horrible pain that I felt in my abdomen area, in my back area, which did not feel like contractions. Based on what I thought contractions were and what people were saying contractions should feel like, that's not what it felt. It felt like. It didn't feel like cramping. It didn't feel like burning. It just was a abnormal amount of pain. And since I hadn't dilated any further, I wasn't really going, through the heavier parts of labor. So anyway, when my husband saw that, I asked him to clear the room, and I looked at my family and I started crying. And I was just like, everything I asked, everything that I said I didn't want to happen to me is happening. Nobody's listening to my pain. They're just throwing the epidural at me. And the epidural is not even the problem because that's attached to me laboring, and that I wasn't having laboring pains. I don't even know what kind of pain I was having. I just know I was in extreme pain. And my family was just like, well, Nisha, we can't lose you. So you're going to have to make a decision. And that was the hardest decision that I think I've ever made in my life, because I just didn't want that to be the dynamics of me giving birth. We had just went through IVF. I had multiple surgeries and procedures just to even get to the IVF process to be able to have my daughter. And then here we are. I'm going from one extreme to another, then another one where I felt like I had someone to help protect me from whatever it was that was going to happen. So now moving on, I make the decision with my family, and we're like, if you got to do what you got to do. I said to the anesthesiologist, I said, but I still feel all of the pain in my abdomen. I still feel all of this weird pain, and I don't know what this pain is. They literally ignored me. They ignored everything that I said and was just like, well, we're going to go ahead and do the C-section. And once we get in there, we'll medicate you more. And they can only do so much, right? Because then it start impacting my baby. So they could really only give me a certain amount of medication or certain types of medication. And I will never forget, as soon my husband's behind me, and I felt that initial cut. And the last thing I remember is letting out this scream and saying, I feel it, I feel it. And then I heard them tell my husband, sir, you have to leave, you have to leave. And then I woke up in recovery. I didn't even wake up in recovery with my baby. My baby was in recovery because they had to slow her breathing down from what they gave me. That is something my daughter is 4 now. That is an experience that was supposed to be beautiful between me and my family. As a woman of an older age, it was already hard for me to conceive. And then that is an experience that I will absolutely never forget. The other part that I will never forget is how Dr. Jackie treated us. We stayed in the hospital for 4 days because we had to recover from what happened. She never even came. She never came to see us. She never came to talk to us. And I'm sure she knew about what happened. And I posted a video after my daughter because I was like, okay, you know what? Let me see if this is a way that I can kind of get this off my chest, because I was dealing with it and I was still crying a lot. And I had a lot of issues toward it. I had talked to some people at her practice and said that I was no longer coming to her practice and the reason why. So I'm sure I got back to her. She never called. She never reached out. Now, don't get me wrong. Like, Dr. Jackie is a very warm-spirited person. But when it comes to how she treated us, I don't know how she treats other people. I know how she treated us, right? And I don't understand how you can now be the voice advocating for women of color when it comes to childbirth. The way that you treated us like we were just a number, the way that you did me, my family, and my child, you didn't even come to see us after you knew about what happened. And then, even if I give you grace to say, maybe you didn't know, maybe the rotating practice didn't tell you, I told your staff the reason why we were no longer coming back to your practice. And you still never reached out. You never called. You never reached out. You never sent anything to say, how are you doing? I'm sorry I couldn't be there for you. Being in the hospital for 4 days when you, and I was your patient, and you never even came to check on me to even see my daughter. I will never respect you. I will never respect you. And I'm doing this because I saw your apology video. And for those women who feel like I feel, because I'm sure I'm not the only one. I cannot be the only one that she has done this to, that has made a woman of color. And even if you're not a woman of color, the topic is around women of color. But even if I wasn't if I wasn't the only woman that this was done to, I don't know how your conscience has let you handle this. I don't understand as how you could be having these conversations to advocate for us. You weren't even advocating for your own patients. You weren't even advocating for me. I think your apology is garbage, even though I forgave you 4 years ago. That's why I took my first video down. And you guys will see that first video because I'm going to re-upload it. And that was right after my daughter was born because I had to deal with the trauma of that. I don't respect you. I don't feel like morally and ethically you even have that compass. I don't think you have any morals or ethics. And I think the only reason that you're crying now is because the community wants to cancel you because of that video. And that's probably exactly how you feel. Now, don't get me wrong. I don't sit in that category, right? Me and my husband have insurance. We both have careers. This is something that, you know, but at that time, she was delivering a lot of celebrity kids. And the first thing that my mother said and I'm her only daughter. This is her first grandchild from me. And the first thing my mother told me was, don't cry about her. You're just not a celebrity. I remember like how I felt as I already felt like I didn't have a voice or anyone to advocate for me in that hospital. But then even for my OB to take it further and make me feel like I didn't even matter. Me and my baby didn't even matter. I'm not saying you deserve to be canceled, but what I am saying is I hope that you reflect on a lot of the pain that you've caused on people, because that is a pain that I will never be able to not be traumatized by. While you get to go off and you get to deliver more babies and have your practice, that left scars on me and my family, and an experience that was supposed to be a good time after going through the struggle of conceiving a child, and then now going through a struggle of now me trying to deal with postpartum at the same time dealing with what happened to me and what happened to me and how you left me in that situation. So anyway, that is my story, and I don't feel like you're sorry. I feel like you're sorry that that video came out at a time where you were able to make a leap in your career and in your world of reality TV because of the vice president. But you don't deserve to advocate for us. You don't deserve to be that woman and that spokesperson. You don't deserve that role. But I do wish you well. That's my story, y'all.
And guys, this is this lady's patience. Now, how much worse can it get? This is somebody who came to her, who trusted her, who said that this woman pretty much left her for dead. But this woman is advocating for Black maternal health, but yet she was never, ever held accountable for the things that she said. But to come back again and to show up and still at another reunion, not be held accountable. Listen, it's more. Now, we're not going to do everybody because we'll be on here all night. But let's just get into a few more of what her patients said about her. And Andy Cohen or Bravo did not hold this woman accountable. She needs to go.
What Dr. Jackie said about Black women made me sick to my stomach. And
So I tried to record this video probably about 5 times, and I'm still a little choked up because I've had a personal experience with Dr. Jackie. Now, this is not my usual content. I don't even talk about this with anybody. Only a few people know what I've been dealing with for the past 4 years. Needless to say, I've been on my TTC journey, trying to conceive journey for about 4 years now. And I've switched to about 4 specialty doctors. Dr. Jackie was the last one. She was the 4th one. Okay. And it's crazy that this is coming out right now that she needs to be canceled, because I truly believe that she does. She has no care for her patients. I can't speak for everybody. I can't do that. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to speak for personal experience because she was my personal gynecologist. I went to her probably like 2 years ago, and this was my last miscarriage. My third miscarriage, right? and I still have the recording actually from the video, but I mean from the appointment, but that's neither here nor there. She had no sympathy for me. And I told my mom, I told my wife, I said, I will never go back to her. I would never go back to her. First of all, she was quick, like she was so quick. And I was like, wow, this is a, when I first went into her, I was like, this establishment is good, I guess, because they're so quick getting patients in and out, but not realizing that she didn't spend much time with you. Like she was just trying to get you in and get you out. I had went to her for the first checkup. I was supposed to be 8 weeks. And she told me to come back the next week to make sure that my numbers were rising. So I come back and my numbers were not rising. They actually stayed the same. They actually stopped. So basically I suffered another miscarriage. And she was just like, yeah, you had a miscarriage. It looks like this pregnancy is not valuable. And I was like, like I got choked up a little bit. And she was like, yeah, so, you have options. We can either do a D&C or you can let this pass naturally. And I was like, okay. Like my voice started to even like shake. And she was like, do you have any questions for me? And I'm like, I don't know what I asked her. But she was like, okay, see you later. Like, didn't even say she was sorry for my loss, because she knew I had 3 miscarriages. So not only that, she says to me, since you've had 3 miscarriages, maybe you should let your spouse carry. What? Why are you telling me this? First of all, tell me that my pregnancy is not valuable, that we should hear a heartbeat and we don't hear a heartbeat. Like, what? Ooh, I'm trying not to cry right now again, because in that moment, I didn't cry because first of all, you tell me that my pregnancy is not valuable, that there's no heartbeat. So I'm still stuck on that. I'm still like, what? And then you say, well, since this is your 3rd one, maybe you should, it looks like you can't carry. Maybe you should let your spouse carry. Yeah.
Okay, guys, so let's kind of get into it. Like, we cannot be making this up. These are her clients. So these people could not be lying. Again, why is this lady not being held accountable? Like, why are we even watching this show? Why are we watching Married to Medicine when they don't even hold these people accountable? The purpose of the reunion is to come and talk about all of the stuff that transpired over the season. But why are certain people, such as Dr. Jackie, able to come and sit on the couch and yet not answer the most important questions that people want to know? I mean, people want to know, how is it, ma'am, that you are a doctor and yet you don't find anything wrong with your friend making jokes about a person who is suffering from infertility issues? Like, Dr. Jackie needs to go. I also feel like Andy needs to go. I don't feel like Andy is cut to be able to interview these ladies because for one, he's not culturally aware. Like, he doesn't need to be interviewing these women because he's not hip to our culture. I'm sure he probably thinks that he is. But y'all got to let me know what y'all think with regards to this. This is just something that's been on my mind because I was like, this lady actually showed up to the reunion and really gave nothing, didn't say nothing, because she said she didn't want to get herself dirty, when in fact, she been dirty from the beginning, because y'all say that she is the most evil one. Now, that's what y'all said. And guess what? I believe it. I actually